What's happening, everybody? Back for day 20 something on markets. And we are watching some pretty exciting stuff happening. I'm joined here, Ian Walsh, Hard Money Bankers, joined with my partner, Ryan Walsh of Hard Money Bankers. What's going on, Ryan?
Hello. Alrighty.
Just to do a quick recap, we've been documenting the Dow daily, the Dow Jones daily each day as the market seems to be unfolding into an anomaly that we haven't seen in a long time coming off of the COVID lows. And we've been documenting, as I've been a chartist for about 20 years, some things that are flagging my attention, and they've been lining up. So what I will do early on here in the show is share the charts. Ryan, I redid the charts today. So it's
Very nice, very clean.
fresh and clean. Yeah, fresh and clean. So this is the triangle that we've been watching every day that has been playing out. We kind of spotted it a couple weeks ago when we saw the Evergrande candle, which is this one right here, had popped up. This is when Evergrande hit the scenes and everybody started saying, what's going on? And then we had the debt ceiling that ran back up to this major trend line we were following. The trend line was originally the kiss of death, meaning it was going to tag it and then run, which is still may do that. It just hasn't done it yet. And then we started to form this triangle, which is like a battlefield for buyers and sellers in the marketplace. And yesterday we had minutes. The Fed minutes. I didn't even know it was coming. I wasn't paying attention. Ryan pointed it out to me, which ended up with this big red tail, or this candle, which is almost green. And this was kind of this to me, this candle where I was like saying, oh, can't do that. Was saying like, the buyers are saying this is where they are. They're making like a motion of like, all right, this is you're approaching our line right now, and we're not comfortable with it. So they kind of made their move here, and then they made another move here. And today, this is my candle for today right now. We have gapped up to this line right here, which is the buyers are trying hard to push this back up through to get a close over this candle. So what do you think's going on?
I don't even have a guess of that, right? It always comes down to, our sports team, your buyers, sellers, who you're rooting for, and the buyers, as you said, showed up, right? As to why, I don't think there's obvious news supporting that right now. But I could say that about the market for 90% of the days, to be honest. So, I don't know. It just shows that, there's definitely a battle, a very big battle going on right now. So
it's interesting. If you look at like the news releases over the past like 2 or 3 weeks, I feel like they've been in the triangle too. Like, I feel like there's been an equal amount there's been like quite a bit of like positive news, then negative news, then positive news, then negative news. And it, pushes that battle back and forth is kind of what happens. And we've been seeing a little bit of positive news. The debt ceiling pushed off was, I guess, kind of positive news. The Fed, I guess yesterday people were happy with what the Fed was going to do. I guess rate hikes are probably going to come earlier. They think earlier than maybe the end of the year. And then today's, this to me, the reason for today's gap up, they're saying, was because of bank earnings came in much higher than expected. To me, that I don't really know what else is on the radar for a bull move that I can think of right now. That was the one thing I was like, all right, it's earnings season. So if they post some good numbers, that's going to be their effort. So I guess to me, that means, a gap up is definitely caught sellers off guard, and the tail yesterday caught sellers off guard. So, but if this gap were to just like fill on this line, because it's sitting on our triangle line here. If it were to just fill back down and under on that line, that would kind of negate the entire bull, take the steam right out of their sails. So it's really important that if this is the cannon shot they're firing, this has to be a kill shot, and it has to go over. They got to run this thing back up and over this candle, the most important candle of 100 years, right? So, what do you think of that?
I mean, it's lining up nicely into kind of what we've been saying. Watch the end of the month here, the October 18th date, the Mark Weiser October 18th and October 24th dates, right? I mean, it's going to come to a head, I think, one way or the other. And basically seeing the buyers here is just kind of, as we keep saying, the more right we are, the scarier it is. This is kind of making another day, like, because you don't have your, I liked your candles, like your alternating candles.
Oh, yeah, I could do that. Yeah, I like them too, actually.
Because it's basically happened. I mean, yeah, not exactly. Like maybe the candle sizes are different, but the battle is kind of happening the way you said. It's almost like a sports analysis when they're saying, the first quarter the Falcons might take it here, but uh, watch to see what the Jets do in the second half, kind of thing. And the Jets, are, of course, not going to do anything. But point being, it's playing out the way you thought the game might play out right now. Just because it's a green day today, it's still on that border of the triangle, and that's the scary part here. So like you said, it's got, if it goes up again, the cannon shot, then I think we have a little bit of a different conversation. But we're not. To me, it's just continuing the trend of what we've been saying, which could be unfortunate for everyone.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, as we're closing, I mean, we can see here as I redraw the candles and we're closing in, like it's just tightening more and more, and that compression is tension in the market. So something's got to give. And these obviously, these candles start to line up to these big dates of the 18th and 24th, or the 19th and the 25th. I think it actually would be due to that. Or, I mean, it could technically open on a Sunday and start moving. I mean, the Asian session happens Sunday night for Eastern time. So, but yeah, I mean, you can see we're getting less and less candles, which means less and less time. Something's got to happen. I know Ryan and I were looking last night at the 24-hour chart, so this is the real-time hours, meaning from 9:30 to 4, which is the Wall Street, U.S. session. But then you also have the Asian session and the European session to make a 24-hour market. And it actually had a different pattern, but the pattern that it targeted itself to was also a bearish pattern that lends itself right down to this major trend line down here. That really is this is the end of the world trend line. So this is the one we're making our way to. And as you can see, that's the point of this triangle gets closer and closer and closer. And it's like, wow, hey, that's really, we can go see that, right? You start to, if you're a trader and you go, man, we're getting close to this thing. Let's go take a peek at this thing. So wouldn't surprise me if you get your pivot under this marker down to this trend line here. And then we've got to see, then, oh my gosh, the show's going to go on for another 3 years because we got to break this trend line. But if that trend line goes, it is just all hands on deck. And yeah, so we're watching if it's got the force to do it. I was actually looking at some headlines, and the one that I just came up with, and I know you ever heard of the Chinese, ghost towns in China? I'm sure you've heard that people talk about ghost towns in China. They've been talking about it since the early 2000s.
No, but carry on.
Heard of this? Okay, yeah. So this was in the early 2000s. I remember they were talking about China just building these massive cities with nobody in them, and it was that's weird. Well,
it's pretty weird.
I was you always think in the back of your mind, well, doesn't that have to doesn't somebody have to pay for that? How does this work? And so we're finding out now. It's a 20-year process, and so the number is 65 million. They were saying vacant, and 65 million. So these are cities upon cities. Apparently you can drive to the city and it's a fully built city, and there might be 100,000 people that live in a city that's meant to house 5 million or 3 million. It's bizarre. Yeah, I know, crazy, right? It sounds nuts. Actually, here, I'll send you the link to this article. You can read it. But actually, I'll put it right in the here. I'll send it to you. The gist of it, though, is how does housing pricing not come down? And right, how do you have all these empty houses, all these empty units? Well, people bought them, right? People invested in them. The government incentivizes then to keep them. And here's the interesting things. I was wondering, why don't people just sell them off when they're scared? That's what I wasn't following. It says, so the government can step in on the transaction to stop you from selling it, essentially preventing a comp from being made. So for real estate people that want to think of, so if you don't have a sell off because you can't sell anything, you're hiding the fact that it's collapsing. There's nothing that can sell. You don't have this big panic sell off because you're not allowing it. So it says China can stop the transaction. The government can change the number of years you have to own a home, or if prices are too low, the government won't give you a certificate of sale, literally not letting you sell it. That's what's happening now. So you won't see the price drop substantially, but you will see the transaction volume drop massively. And they'll stop the sale. By doing that, they can prevent what looks like a massive price drop. They can't prevent the crash, but they can. So it's just such a shyster move, right? It's such a shifty move to just, okay, yeah, there's no crash because you can't sell. Like, you can't crash values if you can't sell the house. Doesn't, right? So it doesn't work. Obviously, all the pressure then builds up on the developer, who people are buying from, who's Evergrande and their competitors, right? Like, there has to be a release valve somewhere, and it's on the developers. And apparently the government was heavily incentivizing every year. I guess there was some sort of incentive reason for developers to build every year. Every year they started with 15 million new homes on deck to build. And 15 million, I think they said it was twice the amount of like France and United States combined on their yearly build. So something nuts.
I'm just going to ask, where are you going with this?
I think it's very interesting because I was wondering, okay, so if you have 65 million homes vacant in the United States, you would go, how is there not a housing crash? Why doesn't anybody know about this? Like, how did we get to this point? Like, you would just have every city is a ghost town, right? Philadelphia's got like 3 million people, right? Or whatever it is. Okay. So how does that, I was thinking, how is that possible that this goes unnoticed? Well, if you stop the sale and you incentivize as the government and you just keep buying, at some point, somebody's got to be left holding the bag. So I'm like, well, who's left holding the bag? Is it the government? Are they just going to? No, it's the developers. And then that goes, oh, well, this started back in 2000. This took 22 years to come to fruition, to become this massive giant of Evergrande crashing and its other competitors. Like, that's what we're seeing now. This thing that started way back in like 2000 or 1999 or whatever is coming to its head.
All right. Well, I will be old school American. How does this affect me, Ian? How does this affect me?
I don't know. I mean, we don't know where those pieces fall. Like, we don't know.
Right.
We just don't know how much it ends
we're
up.
We're gonna find out. We're gonna find out how connected we were or were not to China, right?
Or as a world economy, yeah.
The world economy, exactly. I mean, I think when we had our show yesterday with Tara, it was a really amazing point that the houses that are selling hot right now are the good condition ones. The ones that need a new bathroom, new kitchen, those are the ones that all of a sudden are still on the market because people are saying, well, I don't know when I'm going to be able to fix that because of the supply shortage, and I don't know how much it's going to cost. So it is impacting real estate directly already. Right. And it's not even out. Like it's still a very hidden thing, so to speak. Like if you're not in real estate, you're probably not overly familiar with it. You're like, yeah, I've heard lumber prices went up. That's about it. Right. But the trickle effect is just beginning and it hasn't even come to fruition yet. So,
the only thing the average, I think, a person, that isn't in real estate of the markets has heard is, like you said, is like maybe their home renovation issues. I did have I did have a guy email me yesterday that said, due to like supply chain issues, it's the first time I've heard like a borrower say something about supply chain issues. And then, even up the level of like less connected to real estate is like, hey, Christmas is you better order your Christmas gifts now. I don't know if you've heard that yet. But
yeah. I told you it's gonna be serious when it's on Reddit, and I saw a Reddit post on that. I was like, okay.
Oh, really? What was it alluding to or saying?
It was a meme. It was a comic too. So that means somebody had time to draw it. But it was basically, asking, you got to ask Santa for things now, because you're not gonna be able to get it in December.
Right. Okay. Fair. So it's like funny right now. Gas prices are a little high, but we can still buy gas. It's not cold, so we don't have heating bills. The triangle hasn't been fully filled in yet. That's where we are right now.
Remember Tickle Me Elmo? I don't know. What was it, in the 90s?
Yeah.
I feel like that's what's going to happen for like every toy. It's just,
right.
You're not going to be able to get anything. So people are going to be hoarding it, and just like chip shortages in computers right now, if you know that. People just buy it and sell it for a ridiculous price right now.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about. Like, get like $500 for a Tickle Me Elmo.
Yeah. But imagine that being just random stuff. Yeah, it's just going to be really random stuff, and it's going to start, pissing people off, basically.
Well, they tried to really rail people for that during COVID when people were like stocking up hand sanitizer and toilet paper and trying to resell it. They were trying to like tell people they were the devil for doing it.
Shame those people, and to be honest, I think they are. But I just think we're going to see a lot of that, a lot of scalpers coming in and just hoarding and
So
selling.
there's going to be weird opportunities like that, like
weird
the kids,
opportunity. Yeah,
and it's going to be short lived, or at least for like toys. But
well, maybe not. That's what I'm saying, because
for toys.
Okay, maybe not, because toilet paper came back, hand sanitizer came back in like 2 months, right?
That's
so
true.
Nobody thought twice about it. But now all of a sudden, if it's month 3, month 4, month 5, and we're still in a supply issue, now things start changing and people are looking at things differently, and it becomes a little bit more survival of the fittest. Like, shit, I got to get this because I got to survive, right?
Yeah, and I did see yesterday also, so like the supply chain thing. Yeah, I got this article too queued up. So the government is getting, or at least there was a headline about the government. Supply chain disruptions forced White House to ask Walmart, UPS, FedEx to increase output. So,
like, what does that mean? Like, as if they could just do that?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, hey guys, in case you didn't know, we need you to work harder.
Right.
I don't really know what that was supposed to achieve. I think it was just like them acknowledging it. I don't really know. I thought it was stupid, but it was just like, the point is they made the headline, right?
Those are background rumblings. Yeah.
Just background, like, oh yeah, we were aware of it. We knew. We told them to do something. We did our job. So that's about where I think we are with it right now. So we'll see how this day finishes. I think it's really important today to find out how this. Where's it right now? Right? I don't have it live on this computer.
It hasn't really. We're at pretty much the high of the day. So.
Oh, we are red. Are we red or green right now?
Green.
Oh, we're green. Okay, so we came back.
Yeah.
So all right, we'll see what today brings then.
Yeah, as you said, like, this has got to be the hard. It is a hard push. If you look at yesterday's close to now, that's a huge green bar.
It's a lot of green. It's everything they got. It's going into this move. So let's see what the buyers got.
Yeah, and I know you're trying to end the show here, but I think what we might be missing is that people don't want to fall on this sword. Meaning, you don't want to be the first politician to say, hey, we got a supply issue here, if there is nothing, right? So you might have people who are aware of it but don't want to be the first one to cause panic, right?
Or thinking how they want to strategically approach it, or wait to see.
Everyone's waiting to see. Everyone's just waiting to see. And I think it's reflected in the market right now, because it's a lot of sideways movement. If you take top and bottom of your triangle, it's really just sideways between that.
Yeah.
So it's all wait and see right now. And I guess what we're saying is the waiting is not looking good. But
yeah, it's true.
Cool.
All right, let's see what tomorrow brings. We'll redraw it tomorrow.
That's good. See you tomorrow.
All right, later.